Okay, so I want you to visualize something for me for a second. You're just, scrolling through your feed on a Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're expecting the usual stuff, a trailer for some rom-com, maybe a superhero thing, whatever. But then the screen it goes completely dark. Silence. And then you're just staring at eyes.
Not just any eyes, though.
No, we're talking like uncomfortably close, intense, unblinking, just
Yeah.
piercing stares. And you're sitting there trying to figure out who's who just from the sheer manic energy in their gaze. It's unsettling.
It is.
It really triggers that fight or flight thing you get when someone holds eye contact for like a second too long. And then this text hits you with a phrase that, I'm not kidding, it sent a chill down my spine. Egos assemble.
Egos assemble. I mean, that is a provocative way to put it. It's almost a challenge.
Oh.
And it means we are finally officially talking about the live-action adaptation of Blue Lock.
We absolutely are. That teaser visual dropped. The internet is picking apart every single pixel, and we are diving deep into what this film adaptation is all about, because this isn't just another anime movie.
No, it's not.
The sources we've got, the production credits, the release announcements, the premise details, they paint a picture of a project that is trying to do something incredibly difficult.
Oh, adapting Blue Lock is a total minefield. I mean, it's a series that relies so heavily on internal thoughts, on these really surreal visuals.
Yeah.
So looking at this teaser and the team they put together for summer 2026, our mission today is to figure out if they can actually pull this off.
Or if it's going to be another one of those adaptations we all just quietly agree to forget. But let's start with that tagline. Egos assemble.
It doesn't really sound like your typical sports movie slogan, does it?
Not at all. Usually it's teamwork makes the dream work or something.
Right. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. And that is precisely why Blue Lock became such a phenomenon and why the film is leaning into that idea so hard. If you look at the history of sports media, especially in Japan, the main narrative is all about war harmony, the team over the individual.
You sacrifice for the greater good, pass the ball.
Exactly. Blue Lock takes that whole philosophy and basically lights it on fire. The premise, which it seems like the film is sticking really close to, starts with the Japanese Football Association realizing that teamwork is not winning them the World Cup.
They're tired of being the good sports who lose.
They are. They're stuck in the round of 16. So they decide they're missing one thing, a striker with a massive, almost pathological ego.
And to find this one person, they don't just hold tryouts, they build a prison.
They build a facility called Blue Lock, and they take 300 of the best high school strikers in the country, and they literally lock them inside.
I have to stop you there because every time I think about the logistics of this, it just breaks my brain. 300 strikers. A soccer team has, one striker on the field? Maybe two? You put 300 quarterbacks in one room, you don't have a football team, you have chaos.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's a logistical nightmare by design. The entire facility is built to just whittle those 300 down to one. It's not a training camp. It's a culling process where the losers, their careers are basically over.
Yeah, permanently. That's that battle royale thing the sources kept mentioning. 300 enter, one leaves.
Correct. And that's where egos assemble becomes so important for the movie's context. In a normal soccer match, you're fighting the other team. In Blue Lock, your number one enemy is the guy sitting next to you. You have to destroy his dream to achieve yours.
It totally reframes the entire genre. It's way closer to Squid Game than it is to, Bend It, like Beckham.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that teaser focused on the eyes. In that kind of pressure cooker, the psyche it breaks. You're not looking at a teammate. You're looking at your next victim.
And capturing that psyche is the single biggest hurdle for this live-action film. I mean, in the manga and the anime, they could use these wild, exaggerated expressions, jagged lines, literal monsters appearing behind players to show their ego.
Yeah.
But when you put a camera on a real actor's face, how do you show that same level of, murderous intent without it just looking silly?
That is the million-dollar question. Because
Yeah.
we've all seen adaptations where they just, slap a wig on an actor and kind of hope for the best. But looking at the production team they've listed, it seems like they're bringing in some serious heavy hitters.
They are. And this is where the deep dive gets really interesting, because the studio behind this, Credeus, that name tells us a lot about the kind of tone they're going for.
I know the name, but refresh my memory. What's their big claim to fame?
So their whole resume is built on these high-impact manga adaptations. Specifically, they're the team behind the Kingdom films and Golden Kamuy.
Okay, right. I've seen Kingdom. That's a massive, sprawling war epic. We're talking Thousands of soldiers, horses, guys swinging giant blades. It's visceral.
Visceral is the key word.
Right.
Kingdom works because it gives real weight to the action. When a character swings a sword, you feel the impact. It's gritty, it's muddy, it feels dangerous. Now, just apply that same philosophy to soccer.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. So if they treat a soccer ball with the same cinematic weight as a weapon, we're not getting a light, breezy sports movie.
Not at all. We're going to get a war movie on a soccer pitch. That's my read on it. Blue Lock is basically a combat sport in disguise. The players are physically fighting for every inch of space.
Okay.
So having a studio that specializes in that kind of kinetic impact, making things feel heavy and fast, that's huge. They know how to make violence look beautiful, and Blue Lock absolutely requires a certain beautiful violence in its soccer.
That actually gives me a lot of hope. My biggest fear with sports movies is always that the gameplay looks fake. You know, that actors clearly can't play, so they just cut around it.
Right. But Credeus demands that physicality. But while the studio choice is solid, the choice of director is the thing that really made me pause and reread the credit list.
Yuji Haibara. Yeah, I saw that name and I thought, wait a minute, I literally just saw that name on Crunchyroll.
You did. Yuji Haibara directed the second season of the Blue Lock anime at Studio 8-Bit.
Okay, this is what I want to unpack. Is it normal to hire the anime director to do the live-action film? That feels incredibly rare.
It's almost unheard of. Usually, live action and anime are treated as these completely separate things. Different producers, different creative teams. They barely talk to each other. The live action team often wants to, quote-unquote, fix the anime.
Right, they try to ground it, which is usually code for stripping out everything that made it cool in the first place.
Precisely. But hiring Haibara signals the exact opposite. This is someone who has already defined the visual language of the series in animation. He knows the pacing, he knows the character dynamics, and most importantly, he gets the visual metaphors.
Let's talk about those. Because in Blue Lock, things get weird. Like puzzle pieces floating in the air when the main character, Izagi, is thinking. Or players' eyes glowing green or red. Chains literally holding them back.
That's the aura problem I was talking about. A traditional live-action director might see those puzzle pieces and say, well, we can't do that. That's a cartoon. We'll just have the actor look really intense. But Haibara, he's the guy who directed those puzzle pieces in the first place.
So you think he's actually going to try and translate that surrealism into live action?
I think he has to. And hiring him suggests the producers want him to. It implies this movie isn't going to be afraid of the supernatural or the psychological stuff. They might be planning to use VFX to literally show the egos manifesting on screen, just like in the anime.
Wow, that is a massive gamble.
It is. A huge one.
If they pull it off, it's revolutionary. A sports movie where you can see the internal logic on the outside. But if the CGI looks bad or if it clashes with the real actors, it could be really bad.
It walks a very, very fine line. But I'd argue that Blue Lock, without those visual metaphors, is just a bunch of selfish kids playing soccer. The ego has to be seen to be understood. Haibara's involvement is the best sign that they're trying to keep the soul of the anime, not just the plot.
It's a bold move. It's basically saying, we aren't adapting this for a general audience that thinks anime is weird. We're doing this for the fans who love the specific weirdness of Blue Lock.
And the rest of the crew seems to support that. You've got Taku Kishimoto on series composition, another veteran, and the music. The score is by Jun Murayama.
The notes mentioned the score is being described as a spectacle.
Which, again, fits that war movie vibe. In a story this tense, the music is doing like 50% of the work.
Yeah.
You need a score that makes a simple pass feel like a bomb is about to go off.
And we can't ignore the look. Character design by Kenji Tanabe. The source material specifically says the designs are meant to connect with fans.
Which is just polite PR speak for, we are terrified of messing up the hair.
The hair is always the tell. Anime hair it defies gravity. When you try to do that on a real person, it usually looks like a cheap wig from a party store.
The ultimate struggle. But connecting with fans suggests they aren't going to stray too far from the original designs. They want the silhouettes to be recognizable. If a character has, that distinct two-tone hair in the manga, they're probably keeping it. It's another sign that they're choosing faithfulness over pure realism.
So we have a studio that gets action and weight, a director who knows the anime inside and out, and a mandate to keep the ego front and center. But let's zoom out. Why now? Because Blue Lock feels like it's absolutely everywhere.
It's definitely an ecosystem play. Summer 2026 is the target for this film. But right now, you have the anime airing on Crunchyroll. You just had the episode Nagi movie come out.
Which was a spin-off, right? telling the story from another character's point of view.
Exactly. And that's relevant because it shows how flexible the whole franchise is. You can watch the main series, the spin-off film, and now this live-action movie, and you're technically seeing the same events, just with a different focus.
But the core question is always the same.
Always. Who will survive?
Yeah.
That's the hook that ties it all together. Whether it's a drawing, an animation, or a live actor, the audience is there to see who gets cut next. It's a tournament arc that just never ends.
It's smart. They're casting a huge net. You've got the die-hard manga readers who are waiting to see if the movie messes it up. You've got the casual anime watchers. And then you might even get a general audience who just wants to see a high-stakes competition.
And you can't underestimate the global appeal of soccer itself. It's the world sport. Even if you don't follow the J-League or the Premier League, you get the basics. Ball goes in net.
Good point.
That lowers the barrier to entry so much compared to, say, a baseball or American football anime.
Yeah, you don't need to spend 20 minutes explaining the rules. You just need to explain why this game matters. And Blue Lock does that through pure character drama.
The drama of the self.
Yeah.
Which brings me to something I've been thinking about with audience reception.
What's that?
So we talked about the visual risk, the CGI auras and all that, but there's a character risk too. The protagonist of Blue Lock, Isagi, and all the other strikers, they're not really nice people.
No, they're monsters. That's the entire point.
Right. In an anime, we kind of accept it when a character screams, "I am the king, I will devour you." We accept that extreme narcissism because it's a cartoon. It's stylized.
But seeing a real human teenager say that to another human teenager...
It just hits different. It can come off as bratty or genuinely villainous. Live action tends to ground things emotionally. So if your main character is acting like a total sociopath just because he wants to score a goal, is the audience still going to root for him?
That is fascinating. We usually want our sports heroes to be humble. You know, I did it for the team, Mom. If the hero looks into the camera and says, I did it because I'm better than all of you, that's usually the bad guy in a Disney movie.
Exactly. Blue Lock argues that the villain mindset is actually the hero mindset you need for elite success. The film has to make us fall in love with that selfishness. They have to make ego look cool, not just jerky.
That might be the hardest job of all for the actors. You have to be arrogant enough to be a believable Blue Lock striker, but still have enough charisma that we don't actively want you to fail.
It's a very delicate balance, and I think that's why that Eyes teaser is so important. They are banking on the charisma of the cast. They're saying, look at this intensity. Don't you want to see what this person is capable of?
So summer 2026, we've got a bit of a wait. But looking at all the pieces, Credeus, Haibara, the whole unapologetic focus on ego, it feels like they're at least taking the right risks.
They're not playing it safe, which is probably the most Blue Lock thing they could possibly do. A safe adaptation would focus on friendship and teamwork. This team seems ready to just embrace the chaos.
It leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on while we wait, though. In a world that constantly tells us to be cooperative, to fit in, to be a team player, Blue Lock is just screaming that the only way to truly win is to be completely selfish.
It really asks a fundamental question about what it takes to be great. Can you reach the very top of any field sports, business, art, without leaving a trail of crushed dreams behind you? Does ultimate success require you to be a bit of a monster?
And come 2026, we're going to find out if that monster looks good on a movie screen.
Or if we just end up being terrified of a bunch of soccer players staring at us.
Either way, I'm so there. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep your egos in check. Or, don't.
See you next time.